Good afternoon. Thank you, Vice President. Thank you, Commissioner, for inviting me to this event. I will illustrate the green taxation initiatives launched in the frame of the G20 finance track and comment on the relevance of the EU initiatives in this field with the help of a few slides. The vision of our G20 presidency is based on three pillars: people, planet, and prosperity. This year we decided to put environment at the core of our agenda. Why so? First, protecting the planet is a political priority driven by consideration of ethical nature, but it is also a precondition for achieving stable prosperity. Second, climate change is a global challenge that requires a global solution. G20 countries account for more than 80% of global greenhouse gases emissions. Third, Ministers of Finance and central bank governors have the policy levers that can effectively curb gas emissions. So, the G20 finance track is well placed to make concrete progress in this area. Let me briefly summarize the most relevant initiatives of the G20 under the Italian presidency on climate-related challenges. First, we revived the Sustainable Finance Study Group, which is co-chaired by the United States and China, and which is now a fully fledged G20 working group. Second, we mandated the Financial Stability Board to produce a report on sustainability disclosure and climate data gaps, and asked the IMF to include the climate issues in setting up a new data gap initiative. Finally, we have proposed to launch a systematic dialogue on environmental taxation and carbon pricing. We asked the IMF and the OECD to prepare a report on tax policy and climate change to frame the G20 discussion. The G20 High-Level Tax Symposium on 9 July will be dedicated to these issues. The outcome of the symposium will feed in the Venice Climate Conference of 11 July. Any mitigation policy should include carbon pricing. In the absence of appropriate carbon price signals, companies and households lack the economic incentive to incorporate the social and environmental cost in their decision. Also, raising the price of carbon through carbon taxes is both cost-effective and efficient. We should be aware of implementation problems. Carbon pricing policy may adversely impact the competitiveness of domestic industry due to the possible international differential in carbon prices and the related phenomenon of carbon leakage. In this respect, carbon border adjustment mechanisms can be effective in ensuring that the effort toward curbing global emissions are not undermined by the relocation of carbon-intensive production. In addition, tax policy and the phasing out of fossil fuel subsidies may have negative redistributive impacts on both businesses and the most vulnerable households, which would need adequate compensation. To achieve the common goal of carbon neutrality by 2050, we should build on a constructive international dialogue and cooperation over the medium to long-term horizon. In the international context, the discussion can be advanced focusing on a number of different aspects. Taking stock of carbon pricing best practices will facilitate structuring effective mitigation policies. Analysis on how to integrate environmental goals in tax policy in a systematic manner will help addressing the concerns on distribution and competitiveness. Mapping carbon pricing structure would be a key step to assess the effort needed to achieve net zero emission by mid-century. The European voice is crucial in fostering discussion on climate change. The EU has been at the forefront of climate action and has established the goal of reducing tax emissions by 55% in 2030 compared with 1990 levels. We look forward to the revision of the Energy Tax Directive in June 2021 to achieve that objective. The update of existing structure of energy taxes and the rationalization of tax exemption and reduction will lead the Member States to undertake desirable environmental tax reform. The COVID-19 crisis is a turning point for our societies. We are fighting the pandemic together. We should tackle climate change together. The international context is evolving in the right direction. The US re-entered the Paris Agreement. China is committed to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. Like in other fields, Europe has to lead by example, strengthening its leadership to promote coordination on carbon pricing. The ambition and determination of coordination effort that I have witnessed at the G20 level in the last few months make me confident that the time is right to reach a large consensus on effective measures that will make our planet greener and safer. Thank you.